Have you ever met someone who just doesn't do birthdays, like at all? It's a really fascinating question, and it goes so much deeper than just not liking cake or parties. So let's get into the psychology behind why, for some people, their birthday is just another Tuesday. I mean, we've all seen the two extremes, right? You've got the person who basically plans a month-long festival for their birthday, and then you've got the person who might not even bring it up. The difference there is huge, and it can tell us a whole lot about what's going on inside. So on one side, you have this picture of pure celebration, being the center of attention, confetti, the whole deal. And on the other, you have someone just quietly going about their day, where the date on the calendar doesn't seem to mean much at all. So what's the real story behind these two completely different experiences? Well, it's not always what you might think. Okay, so our first reason, this one gets pretty deep. For some people, that silence around their birthday isn't really a choice they're making in the moment. It's more like a shield, a defense mechanism that they've been building for a long, long time. Just imagine for a second. Maybe when you were a kid, your friends forgot your birthday, or maybe your family was just always too swamped. Or, and this one's tough, maybe you tried to throw a party once and almost nobody came. When you go through that kind of disappointment enough times, you start to learn a pretty painful lesson. And this leads to something psychologists call learned helplessness. Basically, when you've been let down again and again, your brain starts to think, why should I get my hopes up? It's a way of protecting yourself. So the birthday becomes just another day, not because you don't care, but because it hurts too much to care. All right, let's switch gears and look at our second type of person. Now, this one isn't about old wounds from the past. It's all about the pressures of right now. For this group, the birthday isn't being actively ignored. It's just getting completely swallowed up by life. Does any of this look familiar? Yeah, I thought so. You've got work deadlines breathing down your neck, exams to study for, family obligations, and just that never-ending list of chores. In the crazy pace of modern life, it's actually pretty easy for one single day, even a supposedly special one, to just get lost in the noise. This can lead to a really interesting phenomenon called time blindness. It's what happens when your brain is just so overloaded that one day it just blurs right into the next. Your birthday pops up on the calendar, and before you can even think about it, the day's over. It's not a deliberate choice to ignore it. It's just squeezed out by everything else. So we've talked about past pain and we've talked about present pressure, but there's a third group, and their reason for not celebrating is completely different. It's got nothing to do with sadness or being too busy. Actually, it might just be a sign of some serious inner strength. And this brings us to our third and final profile, the emotionally independent person. These are people who are totally aware it's their birthday, they just don't feel that external pull or need to make a big deal out of it. This slide really nails the difference. So many of us rely on what's called external validation. The party, the gifts, all the birthday wishes on social media to feel special. But this group, they get their sense of worth from the inside. They simply don't need a date on the calendar to feel loved or important because they already do. This whole mindset is actually backed up by some solid psychology. It's called self-determination theory. And the core idea is pretty simple. True, stable happiness doesn't come from getting praise from other people. It comes from meeting our own needs, from the inside out. And this theory boils down to three key pillars. First, autonomy, that feeling that you're in the driver's seat of your own life. Second, competence, feeling like you're good at what you do. And third, inner satisfaction, that deep sense of connection and contentment that you build for yourself. When you've got those three things locked in, the need for a huge party just kind of fades away. And here is the real aha moment. This attitude, it's not just about one day out of 365. It's a whole philosophy for how to live your life. Seriously, think about that for a second. Instead of putting all the pressure for feeling special and celebrated onto one single 24-hour window, these folks find ways to cultivate that feeling every single day. They don't need a spotlight because they found their own quiet contentment in the day-to-day. This quote from the source material just says it all, doesn't it? It's this quiet, powerful statement of self-worth. It's not about anyone else's actions or approval. It's just about knowing your own value, period. So let's bring it all together. How we feel about our birthday can be a real window into our own psychology. It often points to one of three things: some lingering pain from the past, the overwhelming priorities of today, or a deep and powerful sense of inner peace. And that, of course, brings the question back to you. When you really think about your own birthday, what's driving your feelings about it? Is it about wanting to feel connected? Or does it feel like just another thing on the to-do list? Or is it just a day of quiet calm? And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. There's no right or wrong way to feel, of course, but understanding the why behind it is so powerful. Is celebration something you look for from the outside world, or is it something you're already building for yourself day in and day out?